This is probably like the poetic equivalent of a father taking out snapshots of his baby and showing them around. I'll start with a haiku to break the ice. It was my daughter's 3rd year of being herself, and we had a mess of kids around and they were going absolutely bananas. And then there was this eerie silence that just went on that little bit too long. And just when I went to find out what was wrong, they all burst back into the room again. And they basically said this haiku to me. It's called Old Dogs, New Tricks. And the dog's in the loo! We was teaching him to pee! And he just fell in. Like, of course I do not attempt this at home, children. They did. So. Still on the same little girl, this is a tanka called One Big Step. And if you have kids or little girls, well, this might be familiar to you. Vest on, inside out. 2 legs in 1 knicker hole. Shoes on, back to front. I dressed myself by myself. So I see, so I see. Stay with the same little girl. We were a very naked family. Mum, Dad, little girl went around in a nip and thought no more of it. She used to crawl into our bed at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and to our naked, we were just a naked landscape to us. So she'd step across my wife's left breast, and she'd trounce all upon my both testicles. If you've ever been woken up in the morning by crushed testicles, it is very painful altogether. This is not about that. This is about a subsequent occasion when Tilly is about to wake us up. It is 4 o'clock in the morning. We have been to a cocktail party, darling, and we are very, very hungover. Tilly's coming to wake us at 4 o'clock is not welcome. It's called I Feel Pretty, oh so pretty. I awake, covered in glorious glitter, smelling strongly of PVA glue, sticking to my cheek, very hungover, and covered in blue, orange, yellow, red feathers. A bubble recently blown, perched upon my nose. I still half comatose. Tiny bubbles travel amongst my curls, as through a bigger bubble brightly, nestling neatly over my right eye, I observe my tiny daughter purse her lips and kiss more bubbles into being. Tilly! I force my lips, still frozen in sleep, to somehow speak. What do you do? Even my syntax and sentence structuring is shot. She smiles sweetly. I'm pitying you. Talking of pitying, one of our last gigs was in a hairdressing salon in Guildford called Coco's. Luckily all the people were gone. It would have been nice if they were all on their hairdryers and I was doing I feel pity to them. It wasn't so. So we had to write in the theme of beauty, so this is the eye of the beholder. You wore your beauty as if it had nothing to do with you, innocent of its effect, a mere irrelevance. It belonged to others rather than to you, who, startled and embarrassed by compliments and acknowledgements, tried to flee yourself and hide in an awkwardness that was beautiful in itself. Your real beauty lay in the fact that it was hidden and unknown to you, could only be assessed by others. For you it did not exist, you too busy being you to notice it. One may as well have thanked the sky for being the sky, or praised the star for being a star, or been enamoured of the rain for being the rain. You could not be explained. The wonder of you was that you just were. This is called Death of a Buddha. Kitten stepping in through skylight window smashes the Buddha, whose shattered body lies scattered all over the carpet. Only his smile still survives. Smiling at the frightened little kitten, I pick his smile up and pop it in my pocket. Clear the rest of the mess up. Put back the Buddha's smile on the mantelpiece, where he grins like a Cheshire cat, more alive than ever. I had the pleasure of having a heart attack The pleasure being that I survived it and I'm standing here in front of you. And I'm a ghost, I'm a ghost. Like so you can put your hand through me, like say, look at that. Having a heart attack is great. First there's this immense, tense pain. The pain that passes beyond all understanding. And this steel belt goes across your chest and it just goes up and you can't bear it and you have to bear it. And then it gets so bad that it turns into bliss. And you just float away. And then if Lady Death comes and kisses you, you say, oh, yes. And she goes, shh, not yet, not yet. And you go, no, I want to go with you. But she puts you back in your place. And I was talking to my girlfriend, Philomena, in the morning over breakfast. It was something, nothing important at all. And I was saying her name, and I said, I got as far as Philo. And I said, Philo. And then she said, because time just stopped for me, and I went into all the pain thing mode and everything like that, and she said that I went as white as paper, whiter than any human being could be, and my lips turned blue and then purple. And she actually saved me by jumping on top of my lap. And when I woke up, when I came back, her knees were on my thighs, and she was banging against my chest saying, you bastard, don't die on me! And that was cardiac, so I came back. Yeah, so here I am. So this is called Your Littlest Smile. Death, rather diffident, rather shy, comes to me and says, it is time to die. Okay, I say, when? Now, like this moment, this second. I struggle with my heart attack as death, feeling bad about it, repossesses my artifacts. Outside, a van pulls up with neat Gothic script, death, removals. It spells out in big bold letters. I like it. Death's got style and a nice smile, and is a kind of groovy guy. Or is he? A lady? Boy, it's hard to tell. This heart attack hurts like hell. Okay, boys, take it all away. Away. Death's little helpers, all big bruisers, all over 6'2", former nightclub bouncers, all. They take away the blue sky under which I'd first kissed you. They take away the little day-to-day things I always loved. The shape of your mouth, your continuously falling hair brushed impatiently away from your eyes. Your eyes. The smell of your perfume in an empty room. The littlest of your smiles I had saved for a rainy day. Meanwhile, like a living Houdini, I had done it. Somehow wrestled out of the heart attack straitjacket. Damn! That spat in a peevish manner. How in God's name did you do that? Okay, boys, put it all back. Put it all back. Les boys scowl, growl, and put it all back. Put it all back. That first stolen kiss, that blue sky. Dead now, no more Mr. Nice Guy. You, I'll see you again, Jimmy. A tear trickled down my cheek. Unable to speak, all I could do was glance down, your littlest smile clasped tightly in my hand. Oh. This has been given a minute to clean up the world. Fascinated with atlases, the where of how places be, I fly over their coloured surfaces, aware of sea shading into different declensions, as a continental shelf suddenly disappears, deepens under the cartographer's hand, so I get dizzy, my fingertip tracing the Nile as sensuously as a seam on a lady's stocking. I follow it from its birth to its delta. Mountains rise underneath my hands as I turn pages quickly to connect them up. Taste the strange sounds on my tongue, holy as Holy Communion. I create the world in my living room, and with the aid of a blue crane, the Dnieper and the Dnester, the Tigris and the Euphrates flow down the last leg of the table on their torturous journey across some splashed linoleum. Sophia, a jewelled brooch belonging to my mother, in my infinite wisdom placed high on a sofa, quite near the chipped china cup of San Francisco. Geographical accuracy didn't matter. Only the world walking over the floor, A4 by hastily scribbled A4, a collection of shoes and slippers become the Carpathian Mountains, blue ribbons becoming river after river, after, until my mother, rather sorry now I guess she made me in the first place, opens the door with a gasp. My God, Donall, just what on earth are you doing? Creating the world, I say with awe. She sees only mess, tells me to clean up the world this minute. Time, love. Yep. All right. I've been a teacher and I've taught secondary, primary, adults, university, everybody. This is me teaching kindergarten. And this was a little guy called Zach. He was about this small and he had a deep, very white voice. So this is called Zach's Prayer. Little Zach, just a little scrap of a chap with a deep, very white voice, inquires as he inquires about everything. Why is your hair white? He listens to the explanation, how after a head injury I went white overnight. Being a good Christian child, he tells me he will pray for me for the black to be back. I'm very tempted to diet for the next day, just to prove his prayer right. When his fervent prayer doesn't turn the situation round, he frets. I tell him, God and me are both happy with it like this. Really? He asks. Really, I affirm. Have it your own way then, but man, it makes you look old and grim. I grin, tell him I am, but I can live in it. And finally, we get to science revision. This is me teaching the science to year 4. They'd all seen the water change its nature, slowly turning into ice, a cube they could hold, cold, a solid they could throw, watching water break and shatter. Julie, take that ice out of your mouth, please. Now we go the other way, and the cube cried with heat and re-emerged as its true self, wet water, as Peter put it. Now, as Peter puts it, no one could quite put it as Peter put it. We melted the water. Not quite, Pete, not quite, but I can see you thinking. And the water screamed into steam. Now, can anyone remember the term he used when water becomes steam? The Brownian motion takes the atoms for a walk around the room. I stare into their little silent faces, their 8-year-old brains furiously ticking over. All knowledge appears to have evaporated. Until a hand screams, please sir, me sir, please. Please that someone has not forgotten. I beam, yes John, you tell them. It's the resurrection of the water. Water becomes spirit. I can see it as he sees it. And a plastic Christ on a plastic cross can't help but smile. I try not to laugh, thinking of the evaporation of Jesus.